All right, so hair structure. One of the cool things about it is the way it grows. It actually grows in these hair cycles. When it's in the growth stage, the cells get added to the base, makes that hair come out longer, and it grows at about 0.3 millimeters per day, which is not really a whole lot. When the hair is at rest, when it's in the resting stage, the follicle shortens, holds that hair in place, and then the hair will eventually fall out and we start the process all over again in a growth stage. So we've kind of looked at, you know, the baldness and the hair color. Now, when it was showing in the video, the goosebumps, okay? Now, here's the cool thing about goosebumps, okay? We know that when we kind of look at the skin and the hair is kind of sticking up, we kind of are like, oh, I got goosebumps in here or whatever. It's smooth muscle that's attached to the hair. We don't control smooth muscle. It's doing that on its own. So that means in some way, the areas of our brain that are controlling that have picked up on something. And the hair is standing up. Now, in early days, okay, like in early man, when they were like majorly covered in hair, okay, we saw that that served a purpose. It served a purpose because if the hair stood up, they pretty much became aware of their surroundings, all right? It kind of alerted them to dangers that might be present. Today, do you notice that? The goosebumps usually show up when there's like something that's just not quite right. You might get that little tingle on the back of your neck or whatever. So it's still present, it's just not as strong as it is, you know, back in the day with early man. So this is sort of what happened. Oh, I'm sorry.
Speaking of goosebumps, so what about when you're like, let's say, this happened to me last night actually. I was listening to a 6-year-old child who was like playing violin. And listening, like when you're listening to it, and I'm like, I got goosebumps out of nowhere.
Like good goosebumps or bad goosebumps? Good. Bad goosebumps. Good. Okay. So meaning that they were, you know, the strings were being strummed correctly. Okay. When we get to talking about the areas of the brain, we have these areas of the brain that create connections and give us our emotions or something that will be attached to something. So somehow that part of the brain was reacting with the music. And you got an emotional feel from it. So it's completely primitive parts of the brain that are controlling that, and we don't do a whole lot with it.
Is it true that the more you like shave or cut your hair, the faster it grows?
Yes.
Why is it like that? Is it trying to make up for the fact that it keeps getting chopped down? It kind of adjusts?
Well, when you shave it, it's like you shave off the skinnier part, right?
You're
so
shaving
it's like
off the shaft.
it's growing thicker, I think. That's until you do laser. Can you actually permanently get rid of hair though?
Yes.
If you like snap
the
them,
laser hair removal.
It really does.
Now, granted, it takes like 9 sessions, depending on the area of the body that you're dealing with, and then in like a year or 2 later, you may have to go back and have another session, but maybe only just 1 or 2, and then I'm gonna have to look that up. Because I mean, I thought about it, but I just never really sat down and put the pieces of it together. Now, the hair cycle, we named the cycles anagen, catagen, telogen. And when you look at what's taking place, what I find so interesting, look at how long the growing phase is for hair. That growing phase is 6 to 8 years that a single hair is in growth. I mean, that's just totally amazing. It's connected to its blood source. We've got the cell at the hair bulb. We've got the cells dividing, creating cells. This older hair from back over here, okay, that as this new hair is growing, it's going to eventually push this one out. They call it a club hair, I guess because it looks like a club, okay? And that just eventually gets pushed out, and that's the one you lose, okay? So, you know, they tell us, oh, well, you know, average rate of hair loss, 100 hairs per day, blah, 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 blah. But what's happening is, while it's in this growth stage for all those years, we've got blood supply, we've got cell, you know, reproduction taking place, all this cool stuff occurring. But then we're like, okay, that follicle's tired, that blood supply's tired, it's like, I need a break, all right? So for about 2 to 3 weeks, it'll take a break. See what begins to happen? Basically, that matrix, that cell division that was occurring begins to stop working, die off, and we begin to see that this hair bulb, this area right here, begins to shorten and tighten. Okay, and the hair is being held in place, but then it goes, okay, now, you know, that vacation was all right, but I want some more time, okay? So for about 1 to 3 months, we begin to see things get shorter, it gets a little bit looser. We still got our, you know, blood supply and everything close by, and that will eventually begin to start producing. And we go back into a growth stage. So it's really kind of interesting what's taking place with the growth of a hair. Don't probably ever really think about it a whole lot, you know, until it comes time to, like, I guess, you know, wash it, cut it, color it, all that sort of fun stuff. The functions of our hair, most of what we have left, you know, on the trunk and our limbs is termed vestigial. You know what that means? It's a primitive part left over. So basically it served a function in early man, but for us, we don't have that anymore. We don't have to go out and fight the saber-toothed tigers, so we don't need that anymore. We have nice, warm, you know, areas where we can go get warm, where we can cool down. Is, you know, not fighting the elements day by day, okay? So we don't, it's really vestigial. Those little receptors that'll make the hair kind of stand up, they can let us know, for example, of stuff crawling on our skin. Yeah, kind of cool. Our scalp, hair up here, helps us retain heat, helps us protect against a sunburn. That used to apply, I need to take that out. When hair shows up in the pubic and the axillary region under the arm, it is signaling sexual maturity. And this is when those pheromones kick in. All right? So like I said, when you're attracted to someone, and I'm being really nice because that's not the only area that you're attracted to, okay? But you're attracted to their armpits. But note where else the hair shows up. Just saying. We have guard hairs, like the ones in our nose and our ears. Eyelashes and eyebrows give protection to the eyes. And then, of course, we got the nonverbal communication, like, yeah. So, you know, it's kind of cool, the stuff that hair helps us do. Another accessory structure are the glands. Sebaceous glands, oil. they're holocrine, meaning when they excrete their material and the cell itself, the entire cell is getting excreted out too. It is an oily secretion, but it's one that we need. Now, does it mean that there's not an overproduction in some cases for people? Yes, there is, okay, because we can have an overproduction. However, one of the things that the oily secretions do from these glands, they do help prevent the drying out of our skin, and it helps inhibit some of the bacteria that we can get exposed to. Almost all of the oil glands empty into a hair follicle. That's how they'll exit. That material will exit, which is why we can end up with the problem of the dandruff and so forth. There's an overproduction. So the oil, really good for keeping the skin from getting dried out and helping with the bacteria. Now, the other type of gland, sweat. Sweat is termed sudoriferous. I'm really old because there used to be a football player that had a commercial that held up the deodorant, and it's like, I'm no longer sudoriferous, but that's like way old. So that lets you know. Y'all look up that commercial, see how old it is, and you'll know how old I am. Now, we have two types, apocrine, merocrine. Merocrine, most common. These are the ones that have a simple coil. You guys remember structures? Okay? They directly open onto the skin. Coiled part is in the dermis, the duct, through the epidermis. They simply are sweat. And like I said, the makeup of sweat can be different. Okay? For example, under normal conditions, the sweat should just be some electrolytes. All right? However, if a person has maybe kidney dysfunction, for example, and their filtration is not working correctly, the body can push some of the products out through the sweat glands. Now, the apocrine, those do not become active until puberty. They're going to be more compound in their structure, and they're going to be found in these areas, under the arms, in the pelvic region, and the anal region. Their makeup has more organic compounds. In other words, regular sweat, mostly salts. Okay, so inorganic. Apocrine, organic. That's why if it gets into, like mixing with bacteria on the skin, it has a stronger smell to it. And if it's like if there's a lot that's produced, it's going to have a very strong smell to it also. So merocrine, apocrine. Mostly what we think of as sweat, this one starts at puberty. Goes for the rest of life. Sweat itself, it is important. Like I said, sometimes, most of the time, it should just be the salts. Now, we have other products that can come out through the sweat. For example, some drugs.